everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys 5 different breakfast recipes or healthy breakfast ideas that I like to have throughout the week, and breakfast is my favorite meal of the day, so I'm really excited to share these with you. So let's get into the video. Today has been a very slow Monday morning, so for breakfast I am going to be making none other than the trusty avocado toast. But I'm going to be showing you guys my absolute favorite way to eat avocado toast and make avocado toast, and I've been having this a lot during lockdown, and I think that this is just the best way to eat it. I like to fry up an egg, and then in the same pan with the leftover oil, I like to fry up a piece of bread, and I think that this is a great way or alternative to toasting because the oil in the pan kind of gives it a little more flavor, and it has like a different kind of texture and crunch than just toasting it. And then for the avocado, I usually just squeeze it right out of the skin and onto the bread, and then use a fork to mash it straight on the bread. I find that this cuts out a lot of dishes that you have to wash, and when you're lazy like me, you always gotta look for shortcuts like these, and this just works totally fine. Season with some salt, you know how it is, and then this is where we change things up a little bit. Lemon pepper. My sister actually showed this to me, and ever since we started adding lemon pepper to our avocado toast, life has just changed for the better. And if you like sour things like me, make sure you put a lot on top. And that's it. Pretty simple, pretty easy, but this is my favorite way of eating avocado toast. And if you've never tried putting lemon pepper on it before or frying your bread, I hope you give it a try. Today I don't have work, so I have a lot more time to prepare breakfast in the morning. I'm going to be making a vegetable frittata today, which is basically like an Italian version of an omelette, and it's a very versatile recipe. You can really add whatever vegetables or meats you like to it, but I like to start off by making the egg mixture just so I can have it ready to go and set aside when I start sauteing my vegetables. I'm using 8 eggs today, and then I'm just putting that into a bowl and then adding about a 1/4 cup of milk. And then I season it with a little bit of salt and some ground nutmeg as well, which will add like a depth of flavor. And then go ahead and whisk that together to add a little bit of air to it to make it nice and light and fluffy. For the vegetables today, I'm going to be using a leek, and if you've never cooked with this before, it's kind of like an onion, but it's got a more subtle flavor. And from what I know, you only eat the bottom part of this, so I'm just cutting that part off. But you can save this top part and use it for any vegetable stocks to add flavor. And you can also store that in the freezer until you're ready to use it as well. So for this bottom part, I just cut the root off, and you want to give this a good wash because as you can see, I'm going to cut it in the middle and you'll see all the layers it's got. Sometimes soil can end up in there, so just make sure you give it a good wash before you cut it up and cook it. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cut this into bite-sized pieces, and I'm going to do this with the rest of the vegetables as well. I also wanted to talk about this purple bell pepper because I have never seen this in my life before, and comment down below if you have, because I find it really cool, and when I went to the market I knew I had to get it when I saw it, so I'm really excited to try this out in this recipe and see how it tastes. So after you've cut up all your vegetables, you want to just go ahead and saute them. Once the veggies are nice and soft, they don't have to be totally cooked through at this point because we're going to cook it a little bit longer with the eggs, but you're going to want to turn the heat setting of your stove to low or the lowest setting, because once we add the eggs, we want to cook it low and slow, and if you keep the heat high, the bottom might burn. And trust me, because I've done this before, I forgot to turn the heat down and the bottom of my frittata was burned. So at this point, spread your vegetables evenly across your pan and then pour the egg mixture all over the top of it. And then add some cheese because cheese just makes everything taste better. So you can really add however much you like here. And I love cheese, so I'm putting a lot. And then place the lid on top and let it cook for about 5 to 10 minutes until the eggs are completely set. Make sure again that you have your stove on the lowest heat setting. And then after a couple minutes, it should look like this, where when you shake the pan, there aren't any visible liquidy spots. Place that under the broiler for a couple minutes just until it gets nice and golden brown, like so. Then I was feeling a little fancy because I was filming this video, so I decided to plate this on a wooden board, but on a regular day, we would just eat this out of the pan. And that's it. You can eat it by itself or with some toast like I'm doing here, and this is also a great meal prep option. You can make some of this and then eat it throughout the week. For breakfast today, I'm making some breakfast potatoes, so starting by bringing some water and a lot of salt to a boil. You gotta make sure this water tastes like the ocean. And then I chopped up about 4 of those little yellow potatoes. I don't remember what they're called, but you want to cook them in the water for about 5 to 10 minutes, just until they're kind of partially cooked, so that when we are cooking them in the pan, we don't have to worry about cooking them all the way through, and we can just worry about crisping them up. And then drain those potatoes. I learned this hack on TikTok, where you just put the colander in the pot and then pour the water out this way. Mind blown. How has nobody thought of this earlier? Or how have I not learned this earlier? But it just makes draining things so easy. So I have some onions here. I use a small yellow onion and then a bell pepper. And then I also decided to add some veggie sausages, and these ones are Canadian maple flavor. Let those soften a little bit and then add the potatoes in. And at this point, you don't want to mix it around or move it around too much, so that everything has enough contact time with the pan, so you get that nice golden brown and crispy crust. Does that kind of make sense? I hope that makes sense. Anyways, I'm gonna season this with some salt and some paprika and some garlic powder, and you can really just do this to taste. And then I'm gonna make a little divot or a little hole in there and cook some eggs as well, just to fancy this up a little bit. Then I lowered the heat a little bit and then put the lid on to help the eggs kind of cook. And then after a couple minutes, it should be ready to go. And then I just finished it off with a little bit of black pepper. And that's it. Super quick and easy to make brunch at home. This is a great way to sneak in some vegetables and some protein and some carbs into your breakfast. And I found that the Canadian maple sausage flavor thing added a nice little touch of sweetness to this, so it was really good. Today I woke up craving something sweet, so I decided to make a smoothie bowl for breakfast. This is also great for those hot summer mornings. And this again is very self-explanatory. You can really put whatever fruits and vegetables you like in your smoothie. And a tip for getting that nice and thick smoothie bowl consistency is to use frozen fruits and frozen vegetables. So I'll usually take some banana, chop them up, and keep them in the freezer for whenever I want to make a smoothie. And then I'm also using some frozen mangoes. So I'm going for a tropical kind of vibe and flavor today with the mangoes and bananas. And this would also be a good time to sneak in some greens, but I was out of that. So it's just going to be fruits for today. This is another thing I learned from TikTok. Use iced water in your smoothie bowls to help with that consistency as well. I don't know, because you're using frozen stuff and you use cold water, it like doesn't melt, I don't know, but it works. And then just blend this up. If you have a high power blender, this is probably going to be a little bit easier, but since I'm using a NutriBullet, you kind of have to let it go and then shake it a lot and then add a little bit more water as you go. I kind of shake it violently like this while it blends, but you kind of just have to do trial and error with that until you get a nice consistency. I just transferred this to a bowl and then I had to stop and I had to show you how thick this is. Look, upside down, doesn't fall. Then for toppings, I'm just adding coconut. So this is unsweetened coconut and some chia seeds as well. Okay guys, we made it to Friday, and Friday means celebration. So we are going to celebrate by having pancakes. And this recipe is a recipe I found on Google, and I'll link it in the description, but you can make everything in the NutriBullet, which makes it so easy. So basically you start off with 1.5 cups of oats into your NutriBullet or blender, and you're going to grind that up until it becomes kind of like an oat flour. Once that's all ground up, add in 1 cup of any milk of your choice. Today I'm using vanilla flavored almond milk because you're supposed to add vanilla to this, but I didn't have any, so you have to improvise. And then just mix that up, and you have to let this sit for 10 minutes to kind of let the oats absorb that liquid. So while you're waiting, you guys can take a look at my nails because I bought a nail kit and I'm trying to learn how to do them at home. So if you have any tips on how to manicure, let me know. Anyways, back to the recipe. I'm also adding in after 10 minutes, add in 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder and then cinnamon to taste. And then you're also going to add in an egg. And then at this point, you can put this back into your NutriBullet and like let that mix up for a little bit. But I already washed the blade because I forgot, so I'm just using the whisk again to mix that up. And then you just cook it. I'm using a little bit of butter. Actually, I'm using a lot of butter because I like it buttery, but then you just cook your pancakes however you normally do it. And then to top this off, I am putting some peanut butter. This is the crunchy kind. Are you a crunchy or smooth peanut butter person? And then I'm also adding some blueberries as it is berry season. And then of course, can't have pancakes without maple syrup. And then that's pretty much it. You can really enjoy this however you like. So there we have it. These are some of my favorite breakfast recipes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that you learned something new. If you make any of these dishes, be sure to post it and tag me on social media so I can see. That would be super cool for me. And again, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate your support, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys!